How's it going, guys? In today's video, we're going to take a look at this Assure Android head unit for my second-gen Toyota Tundra. Head unit arrived in 3 separate boxes. One is for the rear view camera. The second one contains all of the cables and installation hardware. And the third box with the head unit itself. The rear view camera comes with the power and video cables and 2 mounting screws. The second box contains mounting frame, a bunch of screws and the screwdriver, GPS antenna, a whole bunch of wiring harnesses, and installation instructions. And in the third box, we've got the head unit screen, Wi-Fi antenna, a few more cables, microphone, 2 more mounting brackets, as well as warranty card and user's manual. My original factory head unit has small screen, no GPS, and overall it's pretty basic, so this should be a nice upgrade for me. To take out factory head unit, you could use 2 plastic trim removal tools, such as this flat and pointy one, to be able to wedge it in between the trim panels. And the second one could be a little bigger for prying off the panels. And for the reference, here are the locations of the 7 clips holding down this bottom piece. You can use bubble wrap to protect the panels from scratching. Next, we're going to detach the climate control unit. I'm going to keep it connected because otherwise it's going to trigger the airbag light on the dashboard. Next, we're going to need to take out these 2 10mm bolts. There are going to be 2 more 10mm bolts a little bit deeper inside there. Those could be a little challenging, so make sure you do not drop them inside. Use very long socket extension, and you can use some double-sided adhesive tape inside of the socket to prevent those bolts from falling out. Now you're going to be able to pull out the head unit itself. Next, unplug the wiring harnesses in the back. Keep in mind some of them don't need to be unplugged because they interconnect different modules within the head unit itself. Next, we're going to use included screws to attach 2 mounting brackets to the back of the new head unit. Next, we're going to attach GPS antenna by screwing it onto the top connector, followed by 4G antenna. Next up is the rear view camera input cable. It's going to go into the first 10-pin connector. Next is this USB cable for connecting thumb drives with songs and videos that goes into the 6-pin connector. Next, we've got another USB cable for connecting smartphones. That one goes into the 4-pin connector. For the next port, you have 4 different wiring harnesses to choose from based on your particular needs. The first 2 are very basic. They only have 2 audio and 2 video cables. The third one has more audio cables, including one for subwoofer and microphone port. And the last one is pretty much the same, plus it has a port for a SIM card if you would like to have 4G internet for your head unit. Choose one of those wiring harnesses and plug it into the last port in the back of the head unit. Now we have 2 different wiring harnesses to choose from. The first one is for the basic low-end factory head units. And the second one is for the high-end factory head units, and it comes with a CAN bus decoder for the steering wheel buttons. My truck does have steering wheel buttons, so I'm going to use the wiring harness with the CAN bus decoder, but if you are not sure which one to use, you can try to plug them in because they have different connectors and only one of these harnesses will work. Now we're going to grab this black power connector and plug it into the back of the head unit. Next, we're going to connect the plug for radio antenna. Next, this 8-pin connector for the steering wheel buttons. Next, we're going to connect one of these yellow cables for the rear view camera into the yellow female port. There are 2 of them and they're not clearly labeled, so if your reverse camera doesn't work, you can just go back and try the other one. We're going to need to reuse these clips from the original head unit. Over time they can get brittle and break, and if that happens, you'll need to buy new ones. If you're interested, I can drop a link down in the comments below. Next, we're going to attach all of the connectors to the car wiring harness. Should be fairly simple. They are all different sizes, so you can't really get this wrong. And also keep in mind that some of the cables will not be used, like these 3 in my case. Now, before we fully assemble the head unit, let's go ahead and test it first. To program the steering wheel buttons, we need to go to Settings, Factory, enter the PIN code, then go to Car Model. For my particular truck, the owner's manual is set to use RZC CAN box type, Toyota RAV4 2013 through 2018. Yes, it is a different car, but it worked. Now, volume controls and all of the other buttons are working on my steering wheel. The sound quality is pretty good as well, and it plays in all of my speakers.
This is plumbing. At some point, you'll need to call a plumber. Whether it's replacing a hot water heater, repairing that dripping faucet, or overflowing toilet.
I also retain my factory microphone for voice control. Find gas stations near me. If any of the doors is opened in the car, there's this animated notification shown on the display. Be sure to check the rear view camera as well. In my case, it didn't work at first. And like I said, you just need to go back and swap those yellow connectors and try it again. And now it's looking good and everything else is working well so far. Now we can go ahead and install the head unit into the dashboard. And this is what it looks like after everything is all set and done. As you can see, it's a really large screen, and unlike the factory unit, it's protruding a lot more from the dashboard. Kind of like those screens in Tesla cars. This gives it nice, clean, and contemporary look. The LCD screen quality is very good too. Today is a really bright and sunny day, and I can see everything on the screen perfectly fine. Acer also supports CarPlay, and I'm able to connect my iPhone wirelessly and use it with this head unit. Now let's go over all of the features. Up in the left corner, we've got clock, and if you tap on it, you have ability to change all of the date and time settings. Right below it is a music player with 3 quick access buttons, and if you tap on it, it opens up in a full screen mode. And from here, you can access all of your songs and playlists. On the left edge of the screen, there is this arrow button that opens up hidden menu, where you can turn off the head unit, go to the home page. There's a back button and volume controls. In the lower left corner, there's a navigation button. You can download and use any navigation app you want with it. I'm personally using Google Maps. This huge screen works really well for driving directions or for looking for any places of interest around you. This app does require internet connection from your phone hotspot, or you can also install 4G SIM card. But if you prefer, you can also download any other offline GPS navigation apps. Next up, we've got a Bluetooth button that allows you to make and manage your phone calls or play music straight from your device. Next is the app for your local AM/FM radio. It's pretty straightforward. You can search for and save your favorite radio stations and have those preset buttons on the side for quick access. EQ app allows you to adjust your audio settings. You can also choose from one of the factory presets or control where your sound is coming from in 4 different zones using this really cool animated control interface. The video app gives you quick access to all of your movies stored either on internal built-in memory or on the external USB drives connected to your head unit. Apps button gives you access to all of the apps preloaded from the factory. The first one is App Store, where you can download any other apps you would like. Next one is Aux app for accessing your auxiliary input devices. The Bluetooth app is the same one we already talked about earlier. I like having the calculator app. I always use it for calculating mileage at the gas stations. Next up is CarLink 2.0 for wirelessly connecting your smartphone. I currently don't have it set up yet. Next up is Google Chrome app for full web browsing experience. There's also a DAB Plus app if you have a digital radio receiver installed in your car. Next is the same equalizer app that we already seen before. The File Manager app allows you to browse, sort, and manage all of your audio and video files conveniently all in one place. And similarly, the Gallery app allows you to access your photos and videos all in one place. Next up is Google app that allows you to do more extensive search on the web. The Hide button allows you to set up this extra button with the hidden menu that you can place anywhere on the screen, and it gives you access to some extra features and settings. There's also an app for some installation and user guide instructions for this head unit. Next three apps, Maps, Music, and Navigation, we already seen before. The Operation Guide app shows you how to configure and use your head unit. There's also a Google Play Store app if that's something you'd like to use. We're gonna skip over Radio and Settings apps and go to SWC. In here you should be able to program your steering wheel buttons to perform any other functions you would like. Next we've got Touch Assistant setup. After that there is a Vehicle Settings app for your various car driving stats and configurations. Then once again we've got the Videos app. And last but not least for today is the YouTube app. This one is probably my favorite. It looks really great on the big screen and allows you to watch your favorite videos right in your car. In the settings, we're going to find several different sections of controls such as Wi-Fi, device settings, general, factory, user, and system. If you swipe from the top, it gives you several different control buttons such as Wi-Fi, iComfort, data transfer, airplane mode, screen off, clean memory, standby, and reboot. In the upper right corner, there is a button for split screen where you can choose two different apps to run at the same time on the display. And with such a large screen, there's enough real estate to comfortably run them both at the same time. And there's also yet another button to control the volume. The biggest portion of the screen takes up this weird Ferrari Enzo picture with the speedometer reading on the top. I gotta say it's pretty accurate, I would say within 1 mile an hour. Right below it there's this strip for the most frequently used apps that you can customize and add any apps you'd like. Alright guys, that's pretty much all of the features of the Acer aftermarket head unit for your Toyota Tundra truck. I think it's a pretty capable device. It can do a lot of things and it does it really well. The screen is huge. It looks great. The brightness is really good as well. I do wish it had more customization for the home screen, but other than that, I would say it's a pretty satisfactory device. And if you're interested, I can drop a link for it down in the comments section below. Go ahead and check it out. Alright guys, I hope this video was helpful, and if so, please give it a like. Thanks and have a nice day.